Tuesday, March 1st, and we just finished off like a really, really crazy week. So I spent the weekend kind of resetting and really, really resting my body because it definitely all caught up to me at once. And so I thought it would be cool today to show you some things I'm currently doing to manage my autoimmune symptoms and my autoimmune just pretty much the aggressiveness of how it is going right now. I don't want to say the word disease, but you all know what I'm talking about. So I thought it would be cool to show you some things, and then I've been kind of cleaning the house this morning and getting ready because today I officially start a new medication. And so in a little bit, Zeph is taking me out for breakfast, kind of like a brunch, and then we are making our way to Zephyr Hills, which is where I'm going to get my first infusion treatment today. I'm not gonna say what the name of the medication is, but it's done by infusion. And so it's a little bit of a switch. I haven't done infusion since I was in college, and the past medications I've been on have been injections I've done myself from home. And I purposely was praying about a medication option that wasn't injections because a lot of reasons, but I started developing a lot of anxiety towards my medication days because I would like be going on with life and like have a busy day or be making dinner, and then all of a sudden be like, okay, wait, I have to do my needle before bed. And I think like putting that in the mix of like a busy day or a busy schedule was getting kind of overwhelming, and I was starting to like dread the medication day, and then I was starting to dread the anxiety and like the symptoms I would have immediately after. And so that was my previous medication I was on called Humira, and I'm no longer on that anymore, but so I'm starting a new one today, and I don't feel anxiety, I don't feel nervousness. I just felt this morning like I wanted to make the house clean and make the house nice so that when I got home later this evening that I didn't feel like I needed to do anything and I could just rest. So that's what we've been doing this morning. And then the only other requirement is I'm supposed to drink a lot of water, which I'm not even near the amount of water I'm supposed to be drinking today yet. And I'm also supposed to eat a full meal. Now I don't want to be like super full, but so that's why we're eating a few hours before the appointment. Another weird thing is I usually have all my appointments like first thing in the morning, and so this one's later in the afternoon, which is kind of weird, but I'm sure everything's going to go great. And I have one of, they split the first two treatments into two different appointments. So my first one's today and my other one is at the end of the month. So I'm happy to start off in the beginning of the month. I'm happy to be able to track my symptoms. This is something I've like never done before, like actually video document the journey and the symptoms of everything, because it is really, really hard to remember when you're doing a lot of different treatments and a lot of different things. Another reason today is kind of a big day is because March 1st marks the end of my I've been taking corticosteroids, which there's a lot of opinions on, but I've been taking corticosteroids for a few months now on and off, and they're very, very harmful, and I've been blessed that I don't have any severe symptoms or anything yet. I've been taking them to manage uveitis, which is an inflammation in my eye. I've been taking them to manage my flare-ups and different things like that. And over the past month, I've been on them every single day, and I am officially off them today because I'm supposed to stop when I'm starting my new medication. So today is the first morning in a while that I haven't taken them, and usually when I stop taking them, it can kind of present a lot of detoxing symptoms. And so although I'm starting something new today, I'm also ending something. So I know I'm very aware that my body's going through some crazy stuff today, and so prayers are appreciated. And but I know that God's got this. I know that mentally I want to give God the glory today, because there's been so many times in the past where like starting a new medication, starting a new treatment, I have not been like this calm and chill. And so if I come across that way, and so I'm just going to be taking every day one step at a time. And I'm so thankful for my husband. He's going to be with me all day, and we're going to make the best of this whole experience. So I thought it would be cool to show some things that I use currently. I'm not going to really get into like my food or my diet yet, Although I really do my best to stick with a gluten-free and dairy-free diet as best as possible. Another big pillar in our home is like we don't buy genetically modified products. That's something that my husband Zeph is super passionate about. Since we like first met, he was like very anti like GMO products and different things like that, and he's definitely taught me a lot about that. So I'm very thankful God brought me someone who is passionate about health and really helps me stay on track, because although we're definitely not perfect and all that, like with our life, like sometimes you just have to eat what is available to you. God will definitely, if you're struggling with your health, God will bring someone to you who will sharpen you and not guilt trip you into eating things you don't want to eat or different things like that. So keep praying for that if that's on your heart. But there's a few things I do. Obviously, I love cooking. I find it so helpful for my mind, for understanding what's going into my body. I find so much strength in it, and I feel like it really definitely helps me process a lot. But there's this one book that has really taught me so much about my autoimmune health, and it's literally called The Autoimmune Wellness Handbook. I'm going to link it below. I think it's on Amazon. It's all over. But it is literally full of a million things that you can do mentally, physically, supplements, everything that are going to really help you get on track. There's so many times where I found myself reaching for this book, and I remember one time I like made the intention of just like sitting down and reading the whole thing, and it's full of really, really great things. And it's definitely not like a trendy book where it's like, oh, this is going to work now, but in a few years it won't apply anymore. It's stuff that I feel like you could just keep and use for a very long time. So it's called the Autoimmune Wellness Handbook. It's not just for rheumatoid arthritis. It has a bunch of autoimmune diseases featured in this book. And the crazy thing is with autoimmune disease, like there's so many different treatments you can do that are going to apply to everybody. One of my really, really good friends, who's been a mentor to me, who's really helped me go through so many really tough things with my health. Her diagnosis is multiple sclerosis, and she has been such a warrior through it, and we kind of update each other because neither of us want to be on medication, and there's definitely a stigma around that. But, there's sometimes where you have to go on it for a season, especially as you go through your 20s and 30s. And so this book would apply to her just as much as it would apply to me. It's just full of things to take care of your body. There's also a bunch of recipes in it as well. And and it really tells you how to like rest, which is really, really, really important. Another book that is really big if you're trying to go gluten-free is Danielle Walker. She has like 4 or 5 books out now, I think, but this is like her original. It's called Against All Grain, and she pretty much cured herself of ulcerative colitis, which is also an autoimmune disease. She's done incredible things. Like she's created hundreds and hundreds of thousands of recipes that are completely free of gluten, and it's pretty remarkable. So this book has tons of great stuff in it, and pretty much all these books my mom bought me. She's like been such an amazing supporter to help me, with my diet and help me find things that work, and we definitely help each other out a lot with that. So one thing with this book is that it does include meat products. It's definitely not vegan. Like she eats beef and pork and chicken and everything like that. So if you're staying away from those products, then this might not be for you. But if you're trying to start off with gluten-free and dairy-free, then this would be awesome. Another book that has been so awesome, I haven't really fully dug into it yet, but I love the whole concept of this because it's gluten-free and refined sugar-free recipes, but they're more like comfort food, and I love comfort food. I think that I love creating comfort food. I love cooking and preparing. I love having something in my home that is quote-unquote cozy and has just a really warm vibe. And so this book, I'm really excited to dig into it more and try some recipes, but it's called True Comfort, and it's by Kristen Cavallari, and so I'm excited to dig into that more. And then another book my mom got me is by Giada De Laurentiis. She's a cook, and I've been to her restaurant before. It was really, really awesome. But it's called Eat Better, Feel Better, and it's definitely not specifically for autoimmune diseases. These last 2 books aren't for autoimmune diseases, but but it's just for like whole eating and just kind of taking care of your body. This is probably one of her newest books, and there's a lot of recipes in here I have bookmarked because they're very, very, very simple. So if you're just getting started off with cooking and you want to try something that's not too overwhelming, sometimes buying a cookbook is like really overwhelming because there's so many ingredients that like you just wouldn't normally have in your kitchen. But there's this one recipe I've made like 10 times. It's my favorite. It's called chicken Milanese. I think that's how you say it. It's so good. And it's so easy to make. And she makes it all gluten-free. There's like 7 ingredients. It's an awesome dinner. I've also made her chia pudding, which is a great simple recipe as well. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this book if you want like simple meals and quick meals. It's a really, really great book. And then this last book a friend of mine got me, it's called The Guide to Anti-Inflammatory Foods. This is not a cookbook, but it pretty much just takes you through every ingredient and what does what. And it's really great. It's really great to kind of dig in and find out what works. A lot of people are diagnosed with autoimmune diseases in their 20s. So autoimmune diseases are like 80% women, and I don't have the stats in front of me or anything like that, but 80% of people who are diagnosed with them are women. I'm convinced, I don't have any scientific backup for this, but I am convinced that most of them are hormonal related. And so I would definitely recommend, if you feel like there's any issues with your hormones, to eat foods and take care of yourself in ways that are going to balance your hormones. My diagnosis is very different, and so sometimes I find it a little bit difficult to relate to young women who are dealing with autoimmune diseases, because I wasn't diagnosed in my teens or my 20s. I wasn't diagnosed when I had a baby or anything like that. I was diagnosed at the age of 3, and so even though I am 25 years into this, I'm 27, but even though I'm like 25 years into this, I find it very difficult to relate to people who are diagnosed later in their life, because my diagnosis is still juvenile, even though I'm an adult. And so it doesn't change to like osteoarthritis or adult rheumatoid arthritis just because I am an adult. And so, I can go into more of this in another time, but the biggest misconception with JRA is that like if someone knows that I'm dealing with it, they can automatically relate it to like their grandma or someone older in their life who has arthritis, and it's completely different. So that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions, and the biggest confusions is because JRA is actually more closely connected to multiple sclerosis and lupus than it is to osteoarthritis. Now, osteoarthritis is the generic arthritis that you think of when you hear the word arthritis. So it's the inflammation, the wear and tear, the pain of joints. And this is very commonly diagnosed in older people because they've spent their whole life, being hard on their body or whatever, and at the end of their life they start feeling the wear and tear of it. It's also really common in like athletes or people who've really, really put their body through a lot. My diagnosis is completely different. I'm not an athlete. I'm not old. I've never done anything impactful or like hard on my body. Everything is 100% driven by my immune system. So for some reason or another, the diagnosis now is called idiopathic. Idiopathic means that we don't know where it came from. Doctors don't know how it was caused. There's no official cure for it. There's only treatments to help the symptoms. But it's completely triggered by my immune system. Something in autoimmune disease, something tells your immune system to keep going when it should be resting, and it'll begin to attack the cartilage in the bone and cause a lot of inflammation and damage in your joints. And so today is the start of my 9th medication. I've been on medication since I was very little. One of the reasons that I'm able to just live a very normal and live a very great life now is because God, I believe God's my healer. God put me in this family and my family with faith-filled parents for a reason. Everything that has happened has allowed me to live a very normal life, but I also believe I have been given great doctors since I was diagnosed, and I started treatment when I was very young. And I think that the kids who have a lot of have had to deal with a lot of joint replacements and different things like that, may not have had as effective as treatments as I have had when I was very young. So I'm very, very fortunate and very thankful for that. But I have been on medication since I can remember. There's been seasons where I didn't take it, and those were usually like the dark periods where like I definitely was dealing with a lot of symptoms. And so since April 3rd, 2021, I've been off medication, and like a biologic medication. I've been supplementing with corticosteroids and trying to keep things calm, but it's definitely been a hard year on my body, just considering what I've had to take to keep things down. And so so I'm going to share with you a few different supplements I currently take. I've taken a lot of different supplements in my life. I'm a big believer in supplements, because you're not getting what you need in your daily diet, and that's for everybody. Even if you're like super, super healthy, I don't believe that everyone gets exactly what they need every single day. But there's a few things that have really worked for me. I really don't recommend buying like just any vitamin. I think you should definitely do your research and figure out the clean and how clean it is and how pure it is and where it was sourced from and what companies own it and different things like that. But there's a few that have worked for me that I actually notice a difference when I go off of them. And I try to take these every night before bed, and that's because, except for B12, because I don't want to be thinking about like having a stomachache or anything like that. Not that these cause problems, but I take them before bed. That's just what I do. So number one is, now this one's the Omega Woman, but it's the brand called Nordic Naturals, and I take 4 omega-3s a day, which is a lot, but omega-3 is like a superfood for joints. It's pretty much what cushions and comforts your joints. And so I take 4 of these a day. It's also really good for heart health. I'm a good and balanced weight, and so I don't have to really worry about my heart health as much. But anytime there's inflammation in your body, you need to do extra steps to keep your organs healthy and keep your heart healthy. So I do take 4 omega-3 a day. I don't usually take Omega Woman, but this is the only one I could find right now. I just take the regular Nordic Naturals brand, and Nordic Naturals was the brand recommended to me by a homeopathic doctor, and this is the brand that I really, really like. My second favorite brand is called Himalaya. I love everything Himalaya. I think it is so, so, so good. And I'm also aware there's so many different opinions out there and all that kind of stuff, but this is just what I do. But this supplement has been a huge, huge, huge help to me. It's called Stress Care, and it's not suggesting that I'm like stressed or anything like that, but it is pretty much pure ashwagandha, which is the oil derived from like the frankincense tree, which is like known to lower cortisol levels, and cortisol is your stress hormone. The 2 biggest triggers to flare-ups are stress and diet, and then doing something really, really harmful on your body. Like if I was like in a car accident, or if I was injured in some way, it puts a shock through your whole body. And so what I do is I supplement with ashwagandha or stress supplements to prevent things from happening. And even if you don't have a stressful life, I think it's important to just keep this in mind if you're dealing with inflammation, because you could be managing your situation really well, but your body could not respond to stress really well. And that's kind of where I've been over the past, throughout my 20s. I've really, really, really paid attention to how I respond to stress. Like for instance, like something could be happening and it's really not a stressful situation, but I could be responding to it a lot more intensely than I should be. And that's when your cortisol levels can spike and all these different things. So it's called Stress Care by Himalaya, and there's like a bunch of and there's like a bunch of products in their line. They're all on Amazon, but I really, really like them. They have a few others that are great as well. This is not my favorite magnesium, but this is actually a drink, and it's by Garden of Life. I know Garden of Life was bought out by someone recently, but I still like this product a lot. It's the whole food magnesium raspberry lemon. It literally tastes like lemonade, and I just put it in a cup of water before bed. Not every night. One time I took too much of it, and the whole next day I out of it. Like I was like so calm that I was really struggling. And so carefully take the right amount, and then don't take it every single day. But there's days when like my body is really achy and I really need to have a good restorative sleep, and I'll take that then. But every single day, this brand called Pure is one of my favorite brands. This is the B12 folate, which you shouldn't take at night because B12 gives you energy. But this brand Pure, I also take their magnesium supplements 2 a day, and I notice a big difference when I don't take magnesium. And so their B12 folate is really, really good as well. But my mom takes a bunch of these too, and we both agree that the Pure brand is really, really great. It's a lot of the same brands they'll actually sell. Like if you go to a homeopathic doctor, like this is what they'll have there. And then the last thing I take is D3K2 in the oil drops. So D3 is the vitamin, and then K is what helps your body absorb the D. So there's a lot more information of that online. But these are just some of the supplements I take in different seasons of my life. I've taken like handfuls and handfuls of supplements, and just in a process of figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So we are about to leave for breakfast and my doctor's appointment. We are watching my parents' dog Pippa, and I love when she's here so much. She's like a little comfort dog, and so we've been kind of like snuggling her throughout the morning. I'm trying to I'm not pushing Zeph to get a dog, but I'm really trying to like weigh out if we should get a dog, because I don't know, I just feel like it would be a nice like comfort to have in the house, especially on days where I don't feel good. And so we're weighing it out and seeing what the wisest decision is for our life. I definitely don't want to push something. I definitely want to be in agreement. And so, yeah, but it's been really nice having her here. But Zeph just took her for a walk. We're getting ready to go. And I'm trying to track my symptoms through video. Like, not my symptoms, but my progress through this medication through video. But it's a little bit tough right now because I'm not completely, like, off of medication entirely. So like I said, I've been off medication since April 3rd, 2021, but I've been taking corticosteroids for a while now, and so like I do have some pain today in my right knee and both my elbows, but I can't fully say like here's what's working and then track it, because I'm not really coming from like being off everything entirely, if that makes sense. So but I will be tracking today and see how the whole process goes. And yeah, thank you for watching. And if you're taking medication or you're going through something, I hope that this has been a little bit of a comfort and an encouragement to you today so far, and hopefully you can share it with someone who needs some encouragement. We got this. Okay, I just finished my first infusion with my new medication, and
she's feeling sleepy, but she's looking beautiful.
I feel very sleepy and I feel kind of weak, but I'm okay, and it wasn't that bad, and the nurses were really nice and really kind and sweet, so that makes it better. If you have good nurses, it really makes the whole experience a lot better. So shout out to all the nurses.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to all those nurses out there.
You're doing your good work.
Probably the worst part, which I'll prepare for better next time, is just it was really cold, and my arm was like freezing cold and like numb because the IV was hooked up to it. So I'll prepare more for that next time, and I'll probably wear fuzzy socks next time too. But
welcome to Starbucks.
Okay. Alright. Bye. Okay, so another update I just wanted to highlight about today's whole medication process is that towards the end of my last medication, I had a lot of anxiety on medication days, which was every 2 weeks I would have to inject myself. And so the fact that like I just got my medication, it took about an hour, and now I'm completely done for like a month, is a lot more simple of a process, and it was really, really chill. But the fact that I don't have to inject myself is just really, really nice. And you know, I don't even have to think about anything. Like, I don't have to have anything in our fridge or have anything delivered to us. It's just like all handled. So I like that aspect of it. There's pros and cons to everything, but I'm just going to track this one step at a time. Okay.
Okay, YouTube.
So I'm officially home after a very long day, and I look tired because I am tired, and today has been, it's been a long day, just kind of driving a lot and doing a lot of different things. And so all in all, I don't feel queasy at all. I don't have any like fever symptoms. I don't have a headache or anything, which is good. I just feel very, very, very weak, very drained. I don't have my full strength right now at all. And my elbow is pretty stiff just because it's in that position for a really long time. But tonight I'm just going to be pacing myself and taking it easy, and really doing my best to manage my symptoms over the next few days. I'm hoping that this video is helpful to me too, in like a month looking back and seeing how I'm doing. And yeah, so if you know somebody who is struggling right now, maybe they have to take medication or are going on medication or going off medication, whatever they're doing, I hope that you can maybe send them this video and that it can be an encouragement to them. There's definitely a lot of stigma around it. At the end of the day, no, I do not want to be taking a medication. I would love to do everything natural. I would love to not have to do anything at all. But I am blessed, and I'm happy that I found something I feel peace about. And I believe, you know, no matter what I post or anything, I'm always going to come at this diagnosis from a position of strength, because I believe God is my healer, and I believe that I will overcome this with God. He's my strength, and He's gotten me through 25 years, and He's going to get me through whatever else is ahead of me. And so I'm a little bit out of breath. I don't feel like I have my full strength right now, but I know that I'll probably feel better if I rest a little bit and just take it easy, not do anything too strenuous over the next few days or so. And so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something in today's video. I hope that it was encouraging to you, and thank you for subscribing and being a part of this with me and following along my healing story, because I believe I'm healed. So if you have any questions or something, or you'd like to chat, DM me on Instagram. I would love to talk to you more. And I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you feel strengthened and encouraged as you go into this new month of March. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.